Hello, I'm here in Kelly Stroman Theater's lobby. This is 19 Minutes with Joseph Hall. And today I'll be speaking with Noemí Segarra Ramírez. So I'm just going to see if we can get her on. Hey everyone. Hey Shayna Simmons, I see you. Oh, there's Noemí. Let's see here. Excellent. We're connecting, we're connecting, we're connecting. Oh, we've connected. Hello.
Hola, Joseph. I want to give you some
Oh,
Puerto Rican blue sky.
yeah, I appreciate it so much. It looks so
Yes,
beautiful.
it's really sunny and warm and beautiful. Let me give you some green.
Y'all, we are in Puerto Rico
Urban
today. Hello
jungle.
with Noemí. We are in Puerto Rico today.
Yes, desde el
Beautiful.
archipiélago. Gracias a ti. Thank you, Joseph, for this invitation.
Yeah, thank you for
So
joining us
glad to
today. Yes.
continue the conversation and the lineage.
Yes, the conversation continues. It's ongoing. It's
Definitely.
yes. So Noemi, I just want to give a little bit more of an introduction. So for those of you who are just joining us, this is 19 Minutes with Joseph Hall, reclaiming the 19 and COVID-19 and taking those to speak with really phenomenal arts leaders around our world. And today I'm fortunate to be joined by Noemí Segarra Ramírez. She is in Puerto Rico. She was, when I communicated with her last, in Virginia for a time during quarantine, but now she is back home in Puerto Rico. I want to provide a visual description of myself. So I'm a light-skinned, cisgender Black man. My teeth look very white today. I'm wearing a purple shirt. I have one earring. I have a beard, cropped, small beard, pretty pronounced eyebrows, dark eyes, and I'm in the theater lobby. So it's kind of maybe a little Art Deco-ish, built in 1914. So pre-Art Deco, but it's kind of elaborate. So I'm here with Noemí. Noemí, would you kind of give an introduction to yourself and describe yourself as well?
Am I still on?
You're still on. It's a little choppy, but you are on. Yes. I'm gonna see if I can move around myself and see if that improves it. Um, we just had Jumatatu join. Hi, Jumatatu.
Gracias por estar. I want to bring a little bit of context since I'm describing still. I want to share this. Um, and this is part of the lineage. These are my mentors, Marian Soto, and Pepon Osorio, and Pepatian. And this poster is really relevant and important to me because it talks about a choreography that my mentor, Marian Soto, that I was part of. And it talks about the collaboration of a visual artist and a choreographer, tracking the unofficial story of the not official story of Puerto Rico that has to do with the colonialism of our reality and existence. And its imprint in our consciousness and in our society. So, Anne is my teacher. And I just want to bring here, even though I'm in Puerto Rico,
Yes. No, I mean it's quite choppy. It was a little bit. It was a little bit better when you were inside.
where to assist with a connection. I am in the entrance of a building of my house, actually, in Santurce, Puerto Rico, where Piso Proyecto started. And I wanted to share, I wanted that to be the point of departure because I think it's relevant to this conversation and to my story as a movement. It's part of my story as a movement artist and a somatic practitioner. Is this better now? See?
Jumatatu saying it's better.
Okay, so I'm gonna stay put by the urban garden.
Okay, great, great. So tell us a little bit about what Piso Proyecto is.
Okay, so Piso Proyecto started with an intensive summer workshop that was autogestado, that three movement artists and myself gave ourselves the task to come together, and basically I shared the practice of movement improvisation in this platform that I put in my living room, which its measurement, original measurement is 20 feet by 10, almost 10, 2 inches of the losa criolla, so that we as movement artists can do our thing and not get injured. That's why it's piso. It's the name of the platform is piso, and it's literally a support structure for coming together around movement improvisation as a practice of, as a technology of the self, and getting to see ourselves making choices and decisions in the now. And I think this is very important for all of us in Puerto Rico to be able to make our own decisions, regardless of colonial relationship to the U.S. or the government. We've been in a curfew since the beginning of pandemia, and that's like talk about infantilization and not trusting that we as adults can make our own conscious choices. Um, so I think that giving a space and a room to practice embodied and conscious decision making is a very radical and political practice. When I applied for grants and I got invited, for example, for forward dialogues with the Manc community, and I don't think I'm a choreographer because I worked with structured improvisation and performance, And I think that naming it this way and not pointing to
Okay.
choreography is also wanting to really make it seen and palpable and understood that the decision making is in the now.
The decision making is in the now.
Presence in the now to rewrite history.
You're breaking up. You're breaking
And
up
to,
again for some reason.
let me go inside. Let me see if that's better.
Okay. And those of you watching, just let us know if you're having any challenges on your side.
I hope this is better. Let me know.
Okay.
Is this better?
So far, yes, the sound is better. Yep. Oh, is that a skeleton?
I finally got this life-size skeleton that I've always wanted here because for anatomical purposes,
Yes.
like mapping out and naming things and then being able to see them and situate them, you know, like I think placement is part of my practice, being aware of placement. And I think that also has to do with placing this original platform in the domestic space and the commitment to a way of life and what I'm doing with the rest of my life as I come back to Puerto Rico. Is to generate community about the things that I'm really passionate about and getting to know the full embodied somatic energetic potential of the body is really what moves me. And then improvisation practice again as the technology of the self.
And Noemí,
Is
I'm curious. You know, I've seen you share at BAD, but I'm wondering, what does it look like when you gather with folks, when you have a piso event, a gathering of people happening? What does that look like? What does that feel like?
sometimes or most of the times it happens out in public space or in public sphere, and an Instagram live is public sphere, digital space. This is something I really wanted to talk to you about because like since I moved back to Puerto Rico, I haven't been in the theater space that often, really more so like in everyday life spaces. Like there was the original piso here in the domestic space and it was intended for more personal practice, but it immediately moved into and transitioned into community building and gathering. And then out of the idea that I lived in a rented space came out the piso mobile, which is a portable version of the piso, so that you can take your practice to the sidewalk, to an empty lot, there to interact with daily life. And right now, for example, to give you a concrete example, there's a piso Phoenix in front of the Women and Gender Studies program at the University of Puerto Rico. And I think that placement is really like perfect because Women and Gender Studies, needs to be embodied. And it's a platform or a classroom without walls where you're interacting with your environment and with the sun and the heat, and you're being seen as you take risk and are improvising. So, and then that's also something about the community of piso. Piso attracts students. It's just I just, in a way, we attract each other. I'm also in love with education and getting to know more and displacing education from this mind over body into full body energy entorno, surroundings, environment, so that it's all inclusive and interactive. So our community serves students from all walks of life that want to engage and be part of a movement, and it's performative, and it's queer, and it's transgressive or progressive because it places itself in unforeseen placements or territories, claiming, just doing stuff that sometimes is by surprise.
And you said you haven't. Yeah, and you said you
question?
haven't really been in the theater space for a while, but I also know that you haven't been home for a while. You know, you were in Virginia for, I think, several months. How is it kind of, you know,
Woo!
4 months?
That's
a long time.
For pandemia started, o sea, this was like magic. I flew to visit mom and dad because I wanted to be able to rest well. Because 2020 in Puerto Rico, we started with earthquakes, and I wasn't resting that well after all these telluric movements. So, and I wanted to be with mom and dad. So I arrived March 10th, and this whole thing started. That was really important because not only was my mom really happy and grateful because I was around and she could take care of me, and I really appreciate that because I take care, or Piso takes care of a community and a lot of people, and I'm also like a somatic body worker. There's plenty of caretaking and caregiving going on. So I felt held. Of course, it wasn't home. That's always like a cultural. It's home because it's mom and dad, but it's not Puerto Rico. It's the mainland, and there's a tension that's creative and provocative about this for me. So tomorrow is going to be a week that I'm back.
Only a week.
And I feel really happy
to
be here. Of course, mom and dad are missing
Well, and
me.
I'm wondering, you know, how was it kind of coming back to Puerto Rico? Because, you know, when I think about, you know, we talk a lot about this pandemic and vulnerable communities and, you know, all of this, but I think Puerto Rico has gone through so much, especially over the last several years, but, you know, continuously.
Exactly.
Yeah, how are kind of you and your community of folks holding up right now? Like, what are the things that you are doing to be able to make it through this time?
Thank you so much for this question, because yes, it's very important. Like, if there's something that I've learned from this 4 months, is that more than ever, the platform and the project is about supporting and sustaining life. Life is first, second, and third. And that takes me, you know, like my family is not in Puerto Rico. Like my mom and my sister are in the mainland, not in the archipelago. So I have an extended community and family here that I'm really grateful for. And even though I wasn't here, like, I have kept in touch at all times. There's the money and economical resource that we're taking care of each other. And if anything comes my way, I redistribute. So like, I've understood that I'm not an administrator, just like I'm not in the theater. I am not an administrator. I'm a human. And as a fellow human, I take care of my tribe. And with what I have, we do the best. Because if there's for me, there's for Onique, and there's for Edri, and there's for Karina, and there's for Felix. And with whatever we've got, we're gonna make that plenty and take care of one another. So Puerto Rico, you know, and I think the Caribbean is gonna be spearheading, or like, giving lessons about climate change, because climate change is real and it's here and we're feeling it. And what Hurricane Maria taught me or taught us is like to work collectively, cooperatively. Again, the resources we have, we make them collective. And we are solidary and support one another in the dance of everyday life. And we've been doing that, you know, like in a way. That's why I also returned to Puerto Rico. I had a job in Philadelphia at Temple University, or I could have stayed elsewhere. But I really miss the whole social and community aspect that's so grounded in who we are as people. I really miss that. And that's why I'm back. I'm reconnecting to that essence of that is Caribbean and Afro-Caribeña. It's survival. Like, improvisation is a tool for survival. And I insist that it cannot just be survival. We're meant to thrive, not to live in fight or flight or to resist forever. We're meant to be feeling wide and comfortable and more than worthy and enough as we are.
Amen.
Whew.
Yes.
And that's a practice. That's a practice. And building community around that is just satisfying. And I think that's the work.
You know, it's so good to hear you say those things. Here at Kelly Strayhorn, we've been working with 6 other organizations for a fundraiser, a virtual fundraiser. We were supposed to have our in-person fundraiser on June 6th, but obviously that could not have happened. So we said, okay, well, there are lots of us who need resources right now in order to continue our work. Let's work with these other organizations to host a fundraiser that will benefit us all, because we know that there is actually an abundance of resources in this world. There are more than enough resources in this world. We know this. Not all of us get those resources. They aren't distributed to us. We don't have access to them. But we are going to change the frame and acknowledge to everyone that there are resources, and we're giving you this opportunity to share and kind of give up, your power and privilege. So I'm resonated with what you were talking about.
And it's beautiful because you just said what I was going to say next, which is like you find your allies and long-term colleagues that are going to work jointly in this solidarity and community building efforts, which are from the ground up. And it's like from the ground up, it doesn't matter. You're in Pennsylvania, but now we are connected and we're part of the movement and we're going to rewrite history. It's already happening. And yes, there's more than enough for everybody. This is just like insanity. It's reparations in the nation and in Pachamama.
Yes.
That's it.
No, I mean, I always have this question that I ask everyone that I speak with. And, I'm a new executive director here at this theater, only beginning March 2nd, in this roller coaster of a ride that we're navigating. But I always want to know, do you have any advice for me as an executive director?
Mi amor, I see you're doing it already. You brought the office to the theater. And you're bringing the phones and you're bringing the performance and all the powers and the arsenal of information that runs through us, through our presence and bodies, to be of service to community and for justice. And, I'm going to leave you with this one. Check out La Lupe. It's this song. It's a singer from Cuba, Las Antillas. And she has this song about puro teatro. Teatro, lo tuyo es puro teatro. It's about a love song, but we can re-paraphrase and make this be about the you know, like Luciana Achugar has been talking about el nuevo teatro, el otro teatro, another kind of theater. And that's where the performance of everyday life, who we are in the world, and what we're doing with what moves through us. And as movement artists, you know, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. We already have some amazing powers and skills that the world needs. You know, protest is performance. Hello. We've been doing it. We've been doing it.
I just have to shout out, you mentioned La Lupe, and there's a really great director named Luis Caballero. He's based in New York, and he had a musical based on La Lupe's life. So I just wanted to, you know, bring him up in this moment. Noemí, do you have any last thoughts or any advice for kind of all of us? You know, when you think about kind of our shared experience and how we're all kind of navigating so much right now, and so many of us are working for you know, reimagining or imagining new futures and new possibilities. Is there anything that you kind of hold with you that you can share with others?
Well, I want to give thank you to my community and a shout out to Toñita, Antonio Ramos. DJ Perra Mística is there, very active. I see you. Thank you for the love. You know, like, this queer familia is so powerful and intergenerational. Let's celebrate and not forget who we are. Like, we have been in this together. Ancestors teach us. Again, we're meant to thrive. There's two concepts that I want to leave you with that are Hayaera de Colonial. The colonial Haya is to be in order with the cosmos. And please check out Macha Colon. She's a Puerto Rican queer pop cultural icon. And she's the author of that song and Poderes. And yes, radical hope. We embody it, we practice it, and we rehearse it with, as we're doing these unprecedented things that we're going to mobilize and coming to be of service. Let's do it with love, with hayaera and gratitude, and celebrating that we're still here.
Yes. So a few things that you have offered. First of all, everyone, look up La Lupe. Listen to her music. Sí. Macha Colon. Look them up.
Macha Colon.
Radical Hope. I also heard you talking about celebrating. I love that. I feel like, yes, we still have the ability to experience joy and to celebrate, even in this moment where we can also be enraged and on the street and screaming.
Absolutamente.
So yes.
The remix.
Thank you for encouraging that. Thanks. Oh wait, I have to tell you that, you know, you at BAD you danced with a mirror that you found on the street. Do you remember that?
Oh, sí, I want to see that documentation. That's part of my practice, finding things out in the street.
Well, you know, after you left, that mirror was at BAD, and I took it home, I painted it, and I took it to Pittsburgh, and it's in my living room over my mantle.
I love this. Thank you. This is coming full circle now. I love that you have
someday,
repurposing. It's called repurposing and giving a new life, again, a new story.
Yes. Someday when you're in Pittsburgh, you'll have to come to my home, look at yourself in your mirror. Yeah. So great to be with you today.
Mi amor, qué bello. Mira, you have to come to
I would
Puerto
love to,
Rico.
yes.
We don't know when this is going to happen, but it'll definitely happen.
Yes. Thanks so much for being with me today and being with all of us. If folks want to follow your work, how do they do that?
Piso Proyecto en Instagram, Piso Proyecto en Facebook. The platform is Piso, I can write it. Espérate. Sorry. Underscore shifting mode.
You got it.
That one in Instagram, and then
Beautiful.
Facebook, or just write me. Thank you so much,
Thank
Joseph.
you. Thank you.
You know, it's energy, anger, rage, joy, grief. Emotions are energy. We have, you know, and then as movers again, we work with that stuff. Let's not forget.
Yes.
We move that stuff.
Awesome. And I love that we're able to exchange energy even through this digital space. That's what we're doing even virtually. So thank you for being here. Follow Piso Proyecto and follow KST at KS Theater. Tune in to Hotline Ring, the virtual fundraiser that I mentioned earlier. That's Thursday from 5 to midnight. So I hope to see you all there. Thank you, Noemí.
Muchas gracias, mi amor. Mucha salud.
Hi, Alumni Theater Company. Thank you for joining us, or me. I'll be talking to Jasiri X, so hopefully you can stick around. Hi, thank you for joining. I'll be talking to Jasiri X today, so hopefully you can stick around.